Hey guys, what's up? This is Sambi. Got a game of GitS First Assault on PC. I think I might have caught a glimpse of the anime back then, but I never saw GitS otherwise. I came across this game on Steam before, but didn't give it a second thought, and I don't remember if I knew if it was free to play or not before, but some of my favorite YouTubers are playing it, and I just hopped on the bandwagon. The reviews on the store page point to a favorable reception, so I thought, why not? It actually surprised me to know this wasn't the first game I played from the developer Nexon, who you guys might know as the developers behind Combat Arms and MapleStory. I definitely like GitS quite a bit. It's sort of like a Call of Duty take on Counter-Strike, but the game itself feels like a hybrid of various shooters. The mandatory tutorial when you play it for the first time is so Titanfall-like. The unlocked progression system and the point-of-view cams from the enemy when you die feel like Battlefield. The bouncy recoil when you go full auto with guns and map design feel like Counter-Strike. Then you have sprinting, special abilities, and quote-unquote medals popping up at the top of the screen like Black Ops 3. Now, I'm pretty sure this game came out before Black Ops 3, so it's most likely the other way around. But even if I were to call this a rip-off of every shooter in existence, it's still a well-polished FPS that happens to be free to play, and that's not a bad thing at all. Speaking of the Nexon games I mentioned, I know quite a bit of people who played MapleStory back then in middle to high school, as it was either that game or RuneScape, but I never played MapleStory, and I already was occupied with an MMO in Ragnarok Online. Combat Arms was a game I tried on a laptop that had no decent specs to run games, so it was already a lost cause for me to even try playing it in the first chance I got. But I know for a fact that the weapon rental system bugged me, especially after playing Call of Duty World at War on a Wii and getting used to the idea of loadouts I could customize to my leisure, and experimenting with different weapons and setups later. I'm definitely going to give Combat Arms a try later since I never did play it, and perhaps I'll have a new perspective on weapon rentals. Thankfully, in the case of GitS, you get customizable loadouts and you absolutely keep the stuff you get. In the case of Combat Arms, one of their selling points is that they have the largest set of weapons of any FPS at 450 plus guns and counting, so I can partially understand why they would put a weapon rental system. But GitS itself has a far more reasonable amount, and get more free stuff on top of being able to unlock things via leveling up, so that's a relief. The core gameplay is very solid, though I do have two complaints. Attachments have to be unlocked via using a gun, and then you have to buy them with GP, which is the in-game currency used to buy all sorts of things, including new weapons and attachments. And the prices for even the cheapest items, whether in the market or in the customizable loadout screen, the prices are rather steep. Not to mention, there are plenty of guns that are only accessible through the market. You can get some free quote-unquote guns via leveling up, but there's a lot of stuff in the black market. There's a lot of stuff in the market, and that's the only place you can get those weapons, so that's rather unfortunate. I would have preferred if the market was just a way of getting certain weapons sooner, but you have to pay a high price for it. But if you were willing to level up, then you can still get those weapons, but at a much later time. But of course, it doesn't work that way. The other complaint is that you cannot choose the game modes you want to play. You're forced into a mosh pit, and you have to vote for either Team Deathmatch, Demolition, which is Search and Destroy, and Conquest, which is like War from World at War or Momentum from Advanced Warfare. I'm new to the game, so I don't mind not playing Team Deathmatch the entire time, but I would really like the option to just choose to play specifically TDM only lobbies. There doesn't appear to be a lot of maps in the game either, though obviously they can support the game with more content later on. Those are my gripes of GitS so far, which is otherwise pretty fun to play. Sniping is certainly pretty fun. It works like Counter-Strikes, where sniper rifles have variable scopes and 2 levels of zoom by default, but the damage of Battlefield sniper rifles mean that if you don't shoot an enemy in the head or shoot them when they're wounded, you will not kill in one shot most of the time. But the sound design is great in this game, and sniper rifles just have a nice oomph to them. Encounters are usually boiled down to kill / distract an enemy, get killed in return, which means that fresh encounters are occasional, and a sniper rifle is still likely to kill more often than not. Of course, I always aim high. I think a next shot is also one-shot kill, though generally I try to aim for the head regardless. The free assault rifle and SMG you get are pretty competent weapons, and since the people I run across probably aren't going to have much weapon variety at their disposal either, ammo shortage is never really an issue. Also, there's a good chance that I probably don't need to buy much stuff in the market anyway, just a weapon or two. Overall, Ghost in the Shell is a fun free-to-play FPS, but the pay-to-win aspect limited to just buying stuff in the market, and you don't have significant advantages out of that. Hopefully with combat arms, I find just as much entertainment value in it as I do Ghost in the Shell. That's the gameplay and commentary, hope you enjoyed it, and Insanity is out.